Hello Reds, it's Talking Reds from Liverpool. It's weird this always starting the live ones because in a minute I'll see myself on a screen. There I am. There you are, Craig.
Hiya.
And it's always behind and it's always like, is it working? Obviously it is working. Anyway, the Reds played Osasuna last night, won 3-1 at Anfield. Obviously Bilbao the night before or the day before, a draw in that as well. We got to see pretty much everyone who's going to form the senior squad at Liverpool over those two games. So yeah, first things first, Craig, who's impressed you across those two games and how do you feel? Because, you know, that's it now, isn't it? You know, they're going to now be locked in behind closed doors at Kirby. And then the next thing we're going to see is the Matt Carroll Road on Saturday, R5, Premier League's back, no more prep, no more games, no more other bits and bobs. So how do you feel about it all?
Fuck. Excited, properly excited about it now. I think Liverpool's preparation has gone excellently, really. I think whenever you look at some of the other sides in the Premier League where, you know, tours are getting cancelled, loads more injuries than we have. Obviously the Robertson one sort of mars the preparations, but even that's not as bad as first feared as well. And last night, first half particularly, I thought Liverpool looked excellent, not just in terms of the fact that they were 3-0 up, but the intensity they showed, you know, to a man, basically. I thought every single one of them played very well, and similar the night before as well, exactly the same in the second half. Obviously these games get broken up a little bit because of changes and it's pre-season and so on, but overall I think there's loads to be positive about in terms of who has excited me. I think Harvey Elliott caught all of our attention and has done throughout pre-season. I think Naby Keita as well has sort of got us all on board again, Naby season, and I wouldn't be surprised to sort of see him start the first few games of the Premier League season because over the past few seasons he seems to have. We always sort of forget that, but Naby usually starts the first few games of the season. In terms of last night as well, I thought Tsimikas was the one that all eyes were on. Tsimikas off the back of the Robertson injury, and I thought he did brilliantly. Great assist, looked great going forwards. I know there's still a little bit of sort of
linked well on one of the goals, really. Linked well on one of the goals, didn't he, with Minamino? Like, it was a nice move, and then the ball goes into the box, and Firmino puts it in. Like, it was a nice Liverpool move.
I thought what was interesting was, I remember when Robertson first signed, and what we saw from him. I remember you and I were sat beside each other for the Burnley game, do you remember? And I think that was one of Robertson's first games. And what we were seeing from him was getting forward really well, and there was a lot of balls getting put in the box. And I know that wasn't exactly what Klopp wanted. He wanted, he wanted there to be more sort of link-up play inside. And I think Tsimikas, having been here for a season, you saw loads more of. It wasn't just aimless crossing. The crosses he put in were because Firmino was in the middle or because there was a man in there. And the little sort of triangles and interchange play between him and the midfield, him and Minamino, I thought they worked really well.
I think he might be a little bit of a shithouse as well in a positive sense.
Yeah, because he looks like one as well, doesn't he?
He was having he won a foul off one of their forwards. And had to look around to make sure he'd won the foul, and then put the ball down for the free kick, and the forward was going to him like get up and all that, and Tsimikas was going winding him up, do you know what I mean? And I was like,
he has all the makings of a cult hero, I think.
Yeah,
definitely. If he starts the season well here, and look, we don't think for a moment that at any stage of the season he's going to take Robertson's place, but he's going to provide hopefully healthy competition.
Because Robertson played every single Premier League game last season. Yeah. He needs a rest. It's not ideal that he's got ligament damage, obviously, but it actually could be a positive that he gets a little bit of a break mentally and physically from playing for Liverpool, and will come back hungry. And if in that time Tsimikas can shine as well, you'd think that it pushes Robertson on a bit further, but it also means that at key times, we can actually give Robertson a rest, knowing that Tsimikas is all right. So
absolutely, yeah. I think confidence will be massive. I think that's what Tsimikas will have taken from this pre-season, and that he comes to a new club. It's difficult to settle in. It's a new language, new sort of surroundings at a time when COVID hit. Klopp talked about that, how difficult it's been for them, and I think you come into a club like Liverpool, it's so big, and they've just won the league, or they've won the, they just won the league when he signed, hadn't they? And I think to to feel that sense of belonging at a football club.
Can someone get us a new table?
It's shaking like that.
I fucking hate this. And we'll give this back to whoever was doing the plastering when they fucking lent it.
But that sense of belonging is massive for a football, I feel, and I feel like Tsimikas after this pre-season will start to sort of feel that, not just having known and got to know all his teammates over the past season, but just got through a difficult first season, and now he's doing really well in pre-season. I'm excited for him. I tell you what though, imagine telling him at the beginning of the pre-season he's probably going to start against Norwich.
But wow. He's only played 10 minutes in the Prem, or I think it's actually less than 10 minutes in the Prem for Liverpool. Yeah. Looking at the comments here, this is a live one, so some people might be watching later on, but the people watching live, you can put comments on YouTube and we can see what you're saying and we'll have a chat. Jordan Singleton has put, do the song, Craig.
Oh no. I've got stage right. I was thinking Tsimikas, right? Simi. I saw someone call him Simi online. I was like, Simi. So then like, gimme. I was like, Simi, Kas. And I don't know any more than that. He's been hashtagging Greek Scouser, hasn't he? Like, I think it's little things like this that players do that I think sort of builds him up as a cult hero, innit? That, like, he was posting about sharks last year and everyone found it funny, and then this year he's like hashtagging Greek Scouser and everything in Instagram. So I've got Simi, Kas is a Greek Scouser, but that's all I've got so far.
Okay, Josh.
I think that's strong, you know.
Josh Sessions added the words there for anyone who missed that in the comments. I think we'll move on quickly. There we go. Konate, first glimpse of him in the flesh at Anfield. I mean, I think everyone's doing their fucking hell, he's massive, and everyone's doing the, you know, these are Colossus, walk around them and all that kind of stuff. I think there's actually like a bit of an argument now, which I wasn't sort of onto the other day. I kind of just thought, nah, you know, I thought it'll be Matip and Gomez maybe or whatever, but there's looking to be an argument that it could be Van Dijk and Konate.
I knew you were going to say that. I mean, I was even thinking last night how well Gomez played and gets 60, really doesn't he? 60, yeah. 70. And so if I'm Joe Gomez, I'm going, lad, what about me? Yeah. Like, we've got actual competition for places, and I think I just don't know on Van Dijk because I still feel like he looked a little bit off it, and then it comes the argument a 70% Van Dijk against, say, an 80% Gomez or whatever. I thought Gomez looked better, to be honest, although different competition. I think there is going to be a little bit of a twist in terms of who starts at the weekend. Like we were talking about last night in the midfield as well, and we were talking about like the Oxlade-Chamberlain and Keita and stuff. The more I thought about it, I was like, I could just see Klopp throwing in a Thiago for 60. And I think he could do the same at centre-back. I think he might he'd be looking the rest of the week and thinking, right, who out of Gomez, Matip and Van Dijk plus Konate? I think that's what he'll do.
I think Norwich potentially could be getting a little bit carried away. You know, they're at home, they're promoted again, crowd back in and all that. You know, they can be quite an open side at times. And obviously if they try and be that against Liverpool, you back Liverpool to win. What I'm saying is I don't see them like sort of sitting in and battling at home. No. I think they'll try and have a bit of a go. There's going to be goals in this game, I think. So with that in mind and with the quality they've got, you know, that you've got to say that no disrespect to Norwich, but with Van Dijk, we want Van Dijk.
Fuck them, Gareth. None of them are watching.
It just makes me laugh the way that always gets said, like on radio and TV.
Say what you really think.
No disrespect to whoever. Just fucking say what you think. But yeah, the argument for Van Dijk, I think, is that although he obviously isn't fully fit, and he got like 71 minutes on Sunday, but he was chugging by the end, like, and a couple of times, you know, people went past him and you thought that's not the usual Van Dijk. He needs those minutes though in the bank to be ready, certainly for Chelsea.
Yeah, and for City 2 weeks after that. I think that's maybe what they'll look at. I think it's hard because you don't want to throw, if he's not ready, you don't want to throw him in, and basically people are going to be waiting to bring Van Dijk down. That's why I think opposition fans and people within the media are going to be waiting for those blips. So then there's this story that Van Dijk's come back and he's not quite the Van Dijk from before, and I think Liverpool will want to protect him from that. But also they'll have the utmost confidence in him because he's a 10 out of 10 footballer, isn't he? And
Crusher's really taking you down here, mate. Just be ready for this.
About my song.
Yeah, he says, yeah, that's definitely a reason to sign a very slow player, 'cause we made a song.
Who's he talking about?
Tsimikas, I presume, but...
Nah, fuck off, my song's good.
Other bits and bobs. Last night, obviously everyone that you expect to get a go has got to go across the 2 games, and very noticeable by his absence was Shaqiri. I think he's everyone's favourite to be the next one out the door, basically, and there is some interest in him. As soon as I saw it last night that the team sheet and that he wasn't on the bench, I was like, hello. And you could sort of sense that all the journalists were scrambling around trying to find out, what's the reason for it. It turned out that there is interest from Lyon, but they were very much taking the piss with their level of offer, and there's a big gap between what Liverpool want for them and what Lyon want to pay.
Yeah, launch in a bid is what.
Oh yeah, it says launch the bid on news now. When we looked at it before, and just had this idea of a bid floating in the harbour, crack a big bit of champagne.
Mine's is like a
and cannon. It arrives in the Mersey.
The cannon, get that bid, Leon, in. Launched. I love all that transfer speak.
War chest.
What do Liverpool think that they're going to get for Shaqiri? I think that's what I'm interested in, because I read some that Lazio were the team that were after him and have been for a couple of years now, but don't have a lot of money, which you need tender, Gareth, to be able to purchase these footballers from Liverpool if we're going to sign someone. So. I'm interested to know how much
apparently Lyon offered 5, or were looking to pay around
low.
5.
That's low, particularly after the Euros as well.
And Liverpool are believed to be looking for very specific 12.75 million.
That feels like they're after 10 there, doesn't it? Yeah. That's a bargaining, that's a negotiation tool.
I mean, there's been some weird deals happening already, hasn't there? Like, the Harry Wilson one, sort of like a buy now, pay later type situation.
Seems to be a lot of that. They're talking about that from Nat Phillips as well,
Everyone's skin tight ultimately, and I think, you're getting the wages off the books. It's freeing a place up in the squad in the case of Shaqiri, because you've still got this issue with, you can only have 17 non-homegrown. Shaqiri counts as one of those. If we do manage to move him on, all of a sudden there's a space. And who knows, that could be the signing in midfield or the signing up front that everyone is still sort of clamouring for.
We'll shed a little tear when Shaqiri leaves,
Yeah, I like
sad
him.
Moment.
I like him. He's
provided us with a lot of content.
Yeah, he's a little cult hero, isn't he?
He is, absolutely.
But I think the other point with him, as you mentioned them before, him going feels like it then offers opportunities more for the other fella, Elliot.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that sort of got me over the past 2 nights was just like how many options we have. Like, we're able to field 2 football teams and then bring on obviously a lot of the young lads that we brought on, but you brought on Thiago and Henderson in that second half last night, and there is strength and depth, and we went through a massive injury crisis last year, and hopefully we don't have to go through that again. But I mean, I still want one more at least.
Apparently the comment was about Kabak, by the way.
Kabak.
Yeah, because we had that song for Kabak, but
oh yeah, I mean that is fair enough. Although he was going for free, and we could.
But he would have took up one of them specs though.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, and Shaqiri, getting rid of Shaqiri will do that. I think I was interested to see Origi last night, and that I thought he'd be gone by now. I'll be honest, Gareth.
I think everyone has that, don't they? And there's people in the comments here sort of saying they've had enough of him and things like that. It's a little bit harsh, but. I get it though, because it's like he signs a big deal, doesn't he, after Madrid, where he's on the crest of a wave there, and then he's not really done anything since. But he's obviously on decent money. He's had the opportunity to leave, didn't take it, and you kind of think, well, what is it he wants now? Because he seems to be way down the pecking order. Liverpool are still being linked a lot to another forward, which suggests. In some kind of ideal world, they do want one. It's just whether they can do it financially, etc. So you kind of think, if you're him, what's making you hang on? You know what I mean? It can't just be that he's launched the course at the uni.
He's just wants to kick around and see how it all goes. He might just be the most laid-back fella in the world. I think there's been talk that West Ham are after them, and I think as more footballers move on, we'll see the domino effect happen. I think we've started to see sort of more moves happen now across the Premier League, and I think that'll continue. I think the fact that the window doesn't shut before the first game of the season is massively helpful for this sort of thing. I think there will be a lot of business towards the end of the window. I think you will see someone like Shaqiri, absolutely Shaqiri, but someone like Origi as well move on. Nat Phillips wasn't involved at all last night. That tells you that he must be close to a move as well. So the domino effect will soon happen, and then
interesting
we'll
Ben Woodburner as well.
Ben Woodburner again. There's been a lot, like Danny Ingredients got brought up this year. You know, these funny names, footballers. He did all right in Evian, I thought, and he played both nights, didn't he? He's played a lot of football this pre-season, hasn't he? Yeah. I still see him sort of moving away. I think that Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott are going to struggle to get first team minutes
last night. Yeah, because I don't know if everyone got onto what it was in the ground, but what it was the fella pushes him over, but then stands on his face after he pushed him over.
It's unpleasant, isn't it?
It was, yeah, and like he had like a big lump came up sort of around the top of his nose, even maybe the edge of his eye, and I think they just thought, precautionary job, we'll take him off. But from his point of view, that was like his chance to shine before the season starts, because it does feel like there's midfield places up for grabs. We haven't signed the replacement for Gini. There's question marks obviously over Henderson's and Thiago's fitness. So I think Kurt there was thinking, I'll come on here, shine, show the manager what I'm about, and maybe get a go at Norwich, and he had that taken away from him.
I think, Kurt looked massive last night, by the way. I think that's one of the things from having not watched him live or in the flesh for so long now. Like he's developed and he's grown up now. He's a proper sort of member of this squad rather than a young player now, isn't he? And he's a proper option, and he'll back himself. I think it's quietly suits Curtis Jones, to be honest. Not many have been talking about him. A lot of the talk's been around Elliott and obviously Keita and whether Chamberlain will be able to stay fit and so on. And Curtis Jones has just sort of been in the background, and I think that'll suit him. I think at times last season we saw just how good he can be against Dijk in the Champions League, against Midtjylland as well. He was excellent away. Massive future for him. He's got loads of time. I still think Liverpool will sign a midfielder. I just don't see how they don't. I think they have to. And I just don't think that they think they can rely on Chamberlain and Keita, because there's just seasons of evidence that they're not able to do that. And then you've got Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones, who are both young players, and we're all excited about Harvey Elliott, but I don't think he'll see the minutes that we think he'll see.
Carragher was on the free show yesterday, and he made an interesting point about Elliott. He was basically saying, Elliott ideally, you'd think would want to be further up the pitch. And to me, he looked better further up the pitch as well. And he said, and what Carragher was saying was that the problem that they've potentially got at Liverpool is, he is one of these wonder kids. Everyone's got to sort of remember that Madrid were in for him, but he wanted to play for Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan, but he's done the loan at Blackburn. He's done well there. He wants minutes now, as you're saying there. And it's how do you get him minutes? Because ideally he wants to be playing where Mo is.
Yeah,
and Mo's not giving up his place for no one. So where do you fit him in the team? And
you've got Firmino and Jota up there, who Firmino scored twice last night. I thought Firmino was brilliant last night. That was a footballer coming back and saying, "You think Jota's starting in front of me?" Yeah. Absolutely not. I'm playing at Carrow Road, and he just looked as if he was loving being in front of the fans as well. You got Minamino, who's about. I just don't see how he gets minutes. I thought he looked really good last night.
Yeah,
his
touch, decent.
An assist, goal. Yeah. Was able to sort of influence the game more than we've seen. But
what about the Cade Gordon fella?
Oh, he was
16 years old.
He nearly scored, and we were like properly up off our seats. He was devastated as well, falling to his knees.
He was offside though.
Was he offside? Yeah. Okay. Not to blow.
It's just one of them. I will let you off, mate. We presume in your peripheral vision you saw the flag, and, But Curtis played the ball as well for that. Did he? So there was two little glimpses of talent there.
But I think you're right on Elliott. He'll want the minutes. I think he's just so young still. He's so young, and I think that there'll be times this season where Liverpool are struggling to break down a team. Whether it's at home, they can throw him on. He'll obviously get the cups. And then it's up to him to influence the game and impact it, and then for there to be a proper case put forward for him to start, because I think as soon as the Premier League starts, he'll be on the bench, if not sort of
Brandon
trying to get into the squad.
Pang makes a good point there, saying he'll get opportunities during AFCON.
Yeah, well, there's only 2 games though. Like people keep thinking this, but there's not loads of games there. There's 2 games and there's a break. So even then, you look at Firmino, Jota, maybe Elliott. I mean, I'd still love them to sign a striker. I'd love them to sign another forward option. But
there is also there is in the comments B&M bargains and home and bargains chat again.
I wonder, is it from B&M themselves?
No, I mean, it's just Daniel Middleman says announce home and bargains.
We haven't been able to. Yeah, we're still waiting for them to launch a bid. To be honest, that bid hasn't been forthcoming. I think everyone's skint, as we say at the minute. But B&M, if you're watching,
and yeah, there's Origi is in the B&M bargain bin.
It feels harsh, doesn't it? It feels like
harsh, but I've not been in either of those shops lately, so I'm not aware of the latest bargains. But you know, the Coca noodles, really struggling to track them down. Really? Like every time I've gone in, there's no curry flavour.
Brexit, me, honestly.
It is Brexit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Brexit.
It's got to be.
Anything else in the comments? Do you think Klopp will use Harvey like Pep did Foden?
That's a good shout, because Foden, like, we sort of forget that it took Foden a long time to break through, didn't it, really? Like, there's a full season there where he's hard to get minutes because David Silva's ahead of him. And obviously they had him about training, rather than sending him out on loan, they had him about training with the likes of Silva, learning from them. Harvey Elliott's got Mo Salah to learn from, Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane, by the way, who looked like the Sadio Mane of 2 seasons ago, didn't he, the other night, and has done through pre-season. So, you know, He's got all the experience last year playing in the Championship. He's now back training with the best footballers in the world and learning from them. And I think that's the next stage of his progression, looking to see how he can then come off the bench, impact in the cup games as well. But I think we're just going to have to be a bit patient with him. I think we've got so many options, we've got so many footballers. You know, we don't need to rely on these ultra
it's
young
been a reminder of that,
footballers,
hasn't it? I think it has been a reminder of that, the pre-season games, in that, you know, I think you can get drawn into the doom and gloom merchants that are out there who are pinning everything on spending money. And look, I want Liverpool to buy a midfielder. I want Liverpool to upgrade on Origi. But equally, there's a lot of talent already here at the club. And I'm not saying so don't buy anyone. I'm saying there's a lot of talent already here at the club. And you know, the last 2 seasons we finished fourth, second, first, third last season, albeit that we had to like proper save that situation.
Third. It feels mad we finished third.
I know. But you know, what I mean is here, like, if you listen to some or read some, you'd think we're about to be fighting relegation or something, and it's like, we're going to be up there. We're going to be right up there.
And I think, I think you're spot on. I think why... So for instance, me, I want a striker and I want a midfielder. I don't necessarily want them for Norwich or for Chelsea even. I want them for 6 months down the line once they've settled. You know, I want us to continually be trying to progress, and for, you know, when the next Gini Wijnaldum's about to happen, that we've already got the Thiago in place. Like, I think that's why they signed Thiago last season, for instance. I think it's more for this season than last season. Just the injuries meant that we had to, you know, that A, we lost Thiago for a bit, and B, we had to start moving centre midfielders into defence. But you know, that's why I want Liverpool to sign new footballers. But you got so many options there, and you know, I'm confident we can win the league this season. You know, by looking at both those 2 teams, bringing them together. Like, one of the things I always think is at the beginning of the season, I can't wait to see our subs bench against Norwich. It's going to look so strong. I think it'll surprise people how strong it'll look when you put those 2 teams that have been playing separately together. But still sign a centre midfielder, Liverpool, come on.
Yeah, there's still time to do it. You've got until the 31st of August, but it is Norwich this weekend, so we shall be doing everything that you expect from the Anfield Wrap for that game. So there will be a post-match pint, a post-match show, writing on the website. The ratings are back. All of those things that you know and love from the Anfield Wrap over the years. And if you're new to it all and you're like, what's he going on about, don't know what any of these things are, check them out. As I say, there was a free podcast. There always is on a Monday. So if you haven't got onto that, get onto that. Jamie Carragher on that one as well.
I love how they just threw Carragher in, by the way.
Yeah, Carragher.
Someone said, "Oh, Jamie." Neil was like, "I need a space for Jamie," and I'm like, I thought it was Webster or like I don't know who. And Carragher walked in. He's like, "Oh, he's on the free show." He's on the free show.
Met him as well, and Damien was like messaging me saying, "Well, what is it we're doing with Carragher?" And I was like, "It's just
a podcast.
It's just a guest on the show, mate. You know, it's no big like."
Do you know what though? Like one of the things
it's the best way to do it, though.
Yeah, one of the things that's got me properly excited the past week has been like us being able to sort of do the games as we always have, if that makes sense. Like
in person, go in the game, go in the pub afterwards.
The pub afterwards, watching the post-match pint, like, you know, just seeing people with people again, having Carragher be able to come into the studio again, being able to do all the social around the match within Anfield, and
it's been nice.
Yeah, it's been great. Amazing having the football back.
Absolutely, and as I say, if you're still only new to the Anfield Wrap as well, download the app. Get onto that, have a look at our content on there. You can get some free tokens to look at the premium stuff as well. You can also sign up to our stuff on YouTube as well. That's another way now. You
hit
can
the join button underneath, I think, yeah.
There you go. And yeah, that'll do us for today, I think. Thanks for all the messages. Oh wait, hang on, before we go, I like this. John McLean, podcast was class. Damien burned Cara good. I'm not going to read the rest of your comment because it's a spoiler, but Damien did burn Carragher. It was funny. So listen to the podcast to see why Damien.
When Carragher's in, the thing about Carragher is like, and we've met him a few times from him coming in, and like the thing I always take from it is he's just normal, isn't he?
Yeah,
like the way he acts is normal. Yeah. So like on these podcasts, people do end up like having a laugh with him and forgetting he's like a footballer that we all adored for years on the pitch. Mad. That you just take the piss out of him, and he takes the piss out of them as well.
Yeah, so get onto that. It's free, that one. I hope you've enjoyed today's show as well. Thanks for all the comments. Still nothing from Home and Bargain and B&M, but you know, we remain hopeful. Up the Reds.